Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Rogue Wave podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture and the disruptors behind it, presented by Rogue Matter. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture with the rogues who create it every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook.com/Rogue Matter Podcasts. Download our podcast immediately following this live stream on all major podcasting apps. RogueWavePodcast.com. You can get us right there. Go right to Apple Podcasts. That's Wave without an E. Join the movement. Go Rogue. RogueMatter.com. Tonight, Black Panther 2, Black Widow, Wonder Woman. We've got tons of MCU and streaming news, Mandalorian, Chapter 12 reaction, and we welcome our super secret surprise guests that we told you about last week to do some really fun video game Jeopardy. I am your host, Michael Dolce, as always, joined by my co-host extraordinaire, the Lord of the live stream himself, Mr. Hassan Godwin. How you doing, sir?
It
is the biggest bar night of the year. Woo. You got your Zoom beer? You get your Zoom happy hour beer? Because
I wasn't instructed to have a beer, before that.
You're supposed to know. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And just like everything else in 2020, it's virtual. It's a virtual. Everybody drink up.
I got seltzer water, so that'll.
Oh, I got you. Wink, wink.
Yeah,
seltzer water.
Yeah, it's hard seltzer.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Okay.
Real quick before we get into the show, go check out The Court. It's on Kickstarter. It's the next Rogue Matter project. So go. It's actually pretty awesome. We're gonna have Jibba, who's the creator of The Court. It's an illustrated novel. We're gonna have him on in a couple weeks to talk about it. The Kickstarter is running through till December 18th. So just Google Rogue Matter on Kickstarter. Look up The Court. It's pretty cool. It's for anybody who's a sports fan, which I know no one who listens to the show is, but I am. It's got a really amazing sports background, illustrated novel, basketball, which is my bread and butter. So go check it out. Go to Rogue Matter on Kickstarter, look up The Court, and take a look and hopefully back this project. All right, so our super secret special guests is our, why do they call it sister when it's always like when you talk about like your like the people who are doing stuff.
Getting into semantics. Don't do semantics. Don't.
No, I'm asking you a question.
No
I'm
semantics.
Legitimately asking. Like I was gonna say, our sister
it's going to be bad. It's going to
sister podcast. But then I thought to myself, like,
I understand exactly what you were going to do, but it's semantics. I have no answer for you why it's not brother, and it's sister. It's semantics. That's what I'm saying. Don't get into semantics. It's very bad for us. We never do well. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So our sister podcast. I was gonna step up and say something else, but
yes. Introduce the sisters. Introduce our sisters.
We welcome Button Smash, all the guys. Since it's Hollywood Squares time for me, we'll go. We got Casey, we got Jason, we got Dot Chris, we got Sergio, we got Booster Greg. How are you guys doing, folks?
Yeah, doing good.
You guys could be like the Parliament,
They do way better.
They're super excited. Excited.
Yeah, I got to take what they're taking.
Yeah, well, that's because you insulted them and called them sisters. So
Look, man, it wouldn't have happened if you didn't lead us down that road. That was you.
We could be your Eskimo Brothers podcast. How about it?
Oh, that's good. Okay, your Eskimo bro. Isn't that that's that means Casey? Too? I don't know.
Yeah.
That won't help either.
I was going to say I was nervous that Casey was going to forget to unmute himself, but now I kind of wish that Casey forgot to unmute himself.
Definitely not Inuit. Yeah. I'm going to go on record saying that the whole idea was a bad idea in general. Like the discussion in and of itself, the semantical discussion.
Not even 1 minute in, and Casey's already dropping some bombs. So,
Well, we are excited to have you guys on. Serge, give a rundown of Button Smash for all those who are uninitiated and are not cool enough to know what your show is.
Yeah, so every Thursday night live on twitch.tv/RealRogueMatter, we have the Button Smash podcast, which is a video game industry podcast. So not only do we talk about video game reviews, we talk about what's going on in the industry. We recently talked about the Video Game Awards and some of the nominees, how choosing a winner was challenging for us and which ones that we liked. And we had some differing opinions, which is great for our discourse because unlike these other podcast you see from the quote-unquote big boys, from the brothers or sisters out there. We're not paid employees that are put together to have these sterilized views because we're afraid to offend branding over each other. We get right into it. We're not afraid to challenge each other on our opinions, and we're not afraid to come together and talk about the things that we do like. So that's Button Smash in a nutshell.
Don't challenge Hassan. It never ends well. It just never does. He's just very
What do you
scared.
challenge me on?
I mean, that's what it always comes down.
What does he bring out? Like he's like Klingon, like war glove. He's just like.
I usually just close the shutter like that, and then nobody can. And then that's about it. That's the extent of my power.
That's his go-to response. He's like, "Well, I'm not going to have this discussion with you." And I'm like, Hassan, we're on a live show right now. You really can't do that.
No discussion on a discussion show.
And then he's like,
"That's a bold
I
move."
just did it, and I'm like, "Oh snap!" Like,
You're not the boss of me. I can not talk whenever I want to not talk.
Actually, a cute debate tactic.
In addition to obviously being video game guys, you guys are pop culture aficionados, so this will be a great time, a great show. We're going to go through a whole bunch of stuff. That being said, you are video game aficionados, so we're going to do a video game Jeopardy later on in the show. But first, we're going to start with all the rage in the pop culture world. We call this segment Rogue Rage, and we'll kick off with a little R rating here. Deadpool 3. The Molyneux, forget those guys. The Molyneux sisters set to write Ryan Reynolds' sequel. Deadline reports Disney has tapped Bob's Burgers duo Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux Loglan. That's her hyphenated last name. To write Deadpool 3. Up until recently, Disney was reportedly still having trouble with their approach to bringing Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool into the MCU. But it seems they found a way around it.
Because he's foul-mouthed and... it's mostly gay jokes and stuff like that, and it's on Disney.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Yeah.
It might could.
Yeah, you may jump in.
It could totally work. It could totally work, but
Does this mean that H. John Benjamin's going to be in this? Is that what we're
that'd be awesome.
Imagine.
He needs to be at some point. If they don't utilize H. John Benjamin from out of nowhere. I mean,
Deadpool versus Archer. I'm into it.
They could finally have Deadpool talk to like his own inner monologue as a box, and it could be the voice of H. John Benjamin.
Yeah,
well, how much fun is Ryan Reynolds going to have with this, right? I mean, you know he's going to improv the hell out of it, and no one's going to say no to him because he's like Ryan Reynolds, and he's going to go meta above the meta that they're probably going to write into it, right?
Yeah. Or it goes the other way, in which he's kind of scared because it's owned by Disney now, and they're just like, we have so much, we can replace you, Ryan Reynolds. You would no longer be under. I mean, I saw the headline, and when I read an article, I think it was Variety, they said the former writers who made Deadpool $1 billion were quote unquote fired. And then put in these two writers from Bob's Burgers, and I'm just like, what discussion happened at Disney? I wonder.
Bob's Burgers is pretty vulgar. I mean, have you ever seen the show?
It's also one of the best written shows on television. So yeah, I have complete faith in this.
Every time,
I just find it that statement is bold.
Yeah, they get rid of those people who like made Deadpool. It was along with Ryan Reynolds for these new people. It's like, why was that necessary?
Most likely, they went to them and said, "We're going to have to clean up your act because this is a Disney production now," and they were like, "Screw you, Disney!" And then that's why those guys are gone.
No, they weren't. They were like, "We'll do whatever you say. Write us that Disney check.
Write us that Disney check.
That Disney money."
Obviously, that didn't happen.
Deadpool though, like that was pretty successful. That was they kind of reduced it down to a PG-13 rating somehow. I mean,
did they really?
Yeah, Deadpool 2. The Once Upon a Deadpool.
So
that they released a version with a cut that was a PG-13 cut.
I like to call that one the Fred Savage cut, personally.
Absolutely.
Yep. I wonder if they put these writers in because not only are they really good, but they're used to making edgy humor for TV for a mass consumable audience. But why get rid of the two other guys? I mean, that to me doesn't make any sense.
It's probably because they can't do that. So what they want to do is Disney wants to kind of clean up Deadpool a little bit, right? And Deadpool can be cleaned up. Like we've seen him in Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. We've seen him in animated films. Like he's not always super rated R, even in his own books.
But you can't clean him up if he started out as a hard R. You know,
I don't view it as that because if you have him like realize that he's being censored, like in like a fourth wall breaking kind of
You could do that.
mentality, then you get away with it.
You can
Yeah.
push that, but I don't know for how long though.
Well,
And
I
then
mean, what if you put
That's
them in?
fair.
What if the deal didn't close, and obviously Fox was eventually gonna push them into an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna have a team X-Men movie rated R.
Right.
You'll get your Logans, you'll get your little side movies, like even New Mutants. And that movie was weird as hell. That wasn't rated R, right?
Like, what if he just travels around and every, fifth word in a sentence is just like a black box, and he's like, boop, every time. He's just like,
I'm telling you, like, gimmick wise, it could all work, but ultimately, the finished product is not going to be desirable. People are going to constantly compare it to the first two,
Of course.
or the first one, indefinite.
Oh, sure.
And they're going to be like, as soon as Disney got their hands on it, they destroyed it. So, like, the only hope for them is for them to actually lean into what Deadwood is. Deadwood.
Nice.
Deadwood.
Time for me to go, gentlemen. Good night.
Deadpool.
To lean into what Deadpool is, or not, or don't do it.
the only thing
Because-
that's going to save Deadpool 3, though, Emperor Palpatine.
Oh no! If they need to do that, they need to make as many Disney jokes. And I like the censorship of the black box thing. Like they need to lean into that and make as
It's a
many
different Disney
jokes as they
character
can.
every time.
Yeah, it's a different Disney character every time on like the mouse. Like, it starts off as a regular black bar when he bleeps. He's like, "What the hell?" And he starts like trying to move it and becomes like Mickey, then Goofy, and then like
They
just
should have
Disney
bleeped and
logo.
hired us. What are they thinking?
Oh,
So many jokes.
This thing writes itself.
Yeah.
This thing
Oh
writes
my
itself.
God.
All right, onto some actual MCU news. Black Panther 2 starts filming. This is my serious tone now. I'm gonna go from ha Deadpool to Black Panther 2.
Doesn't
So it's
work when
filming
you
in
tell
July.
everybody this is your serious tone. No,
What's that?
it doesn't work when you tell everyone that's your serious tone. It's
I had to. It's
supposed to be something other people notice.
Mask
Like,
on.
oh man, he's being serious.
What's
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
I got no patience for that. I got
Exactly.
no time.
I
for
know.
people
I'm
like-
just telling you that's why it never works. But go ahead.
I mean, you say that, but then when you call it out, it actually works. Like this.
I'm saving you. I'm calling it out to save you.
Maybe I know what you're gonna do, and
Yeah. All right.
I
You're
know
playing
that.
3-dimensional chess.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
great.
am. I'm
Please
playing.
continue.
You're playing checkers. I'm playing chess, bro.
Yeah.
The unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman has raised a lot of questions in regards to what Black Panther's role might be in the Marvel universe going forward. Recent rumors have inevitably come up with some suggesting. Oh boy, this was
Woof.
poorly
There you
written.
go. 3-dimensional.
It's the biggest burn of the year, and I've been drinking. What do you want from me? A digital double of Boseman could be used. Those rumors have been dismissed, but the question remains: how will Black Panther continue? According to Hollywood Reporter, the shoot, which was originally scheduled for March 2021, it has now been pushed back to July in the Marvel
Wonder
film
why.
production hub of Atlanta. And Latita writes Shuri might also be taking on the Black Panther mantle, with the report also stating she might have a more prominent role in the sequel. It does have a villain, though. Narcos Mexico star Tenoch Huerta is also in talks to play the villain in the sequel. I don't know how they do this, to be honest with you, right? Like that's my initial reaction. I don't know how you have a Black Panther 2. I'm not saying they shouldn't. And I'm very curious to know how they do this. But as opposed to Deadpool 3, which writes itself right here in this podcast, I don't know there's just so many ways you can mess this up, both from just a fan point of view to a disrespecting point of view to a cancel culture point of view to there's so many ways you can mess this up. So I'm just very curious. What do you all think they can do? And feel free, the first one, to come up with the best suggestion, because you'll then be hired.
Well, Shuri as Black Panther has already been done in the comics.
Yeah.
They were actually kind of sort of co-Black Panthers for a while. Like, she was the regent of Wakanda Black Panther, while Black Panther was off gallivanting with the Avengers and the Illuminati, like, Mr. Fantastic, Stephen Strange, Iron Man, the Wikes, all the intelligent guys of the Marvel Universe trying to solve the world's problems.
Mm-hmm.
And T'Challa also kind of became like the ruler of the Wakandan underworld for a while. So you could, if you're going to do like a CGI Boseman for like one scene, you could sort of write him out that way, where it's like, oh, I'm part of Wakanda's honored dead or whatever. And they just like show his hologram or something. I don't know. I feel like there should be some tribute there. They snuck a tribute in the Miles Morales game for the guy. So,
Well, where does this take place? Do we know yet? Does it take place before they were brought back? Like, are they able to write it in where this is like pre everybody coming back? so they have some sort of an excuse.
Between Infinity War and Endgame.
It's a good idea. I mean, Black Widow obviously takes place between Civil War and Winter Soldier. So I mean, a lot of these films could, but I would think no matter what, going forward, in a way, you have to acknowledge T'Challa is no longer with us, right?
Yeah.
And it can't. And it
I don't think it would
literally
be
can't
smart to go back. I think they have to just like hang a lantern on it and go forward. You know.
Yeah.
They need to get it over with. If they want to keep it as a viable franchise, they just basically need to figure out exactly how to address it, and then address it in the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the film, and then make the rest of the film them dealing with whatever the fallout is. And then by the end, hopefully they've solidified whatever replacement character there is, so that you can go forward. But if you try to Carrie Fisher the whole thing, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Coogler did. I mean, he did an absolutely amazing, above and beyond phenomenal job with that first movie, and he's still attached to this one. So, I mean, I think the right person is at the helm for this one. And think of where we are in the MCU right now. There's actually very little that they need to tie in. I mean, they Endgame kind of hit the reset button on a lot of that stuff. So you can kind of do whatever you want at the moment going forward. So I don't think there's too many things they have to do there. But I have faith that it's going to be whatever they do is going to be good as long as he's in charge.
Black Panther is also one of those films too where the character in the comic is revered. However, the film, I think, so transcended what was ever accomplished in the comic book, right? I mean, it's not like Fantastic Four, where when you do like a horrible movie, like it's like you're killing Fantastic Four, like the genesis of superhero comics or something like that. Black Panther, the film, I think carries more weight. So whatever they choose to do is what people are going to just kind of accept as, oh well, this is this Black Panther. There's nothing too tied too much to it where fandom is going to kind of pull some sort of revolt or whatever the case is. Whereas as long as they make a good movie, I think people will ultimately be kind of okay with it. But interesting to see where it goes. And again, that is just a big question. All right, and finally, Chris Hemsworth, Thor: Love and Thunder, likened Chris Hemsworth's Thor: Love and Thunder, likened to Avengers 5. Marvel Studios appears to be giving the Avengers series a break, but that doesn't mean we won't see team-ups in the future Phase 4 solo films. We already know Doctor Strange will appear in Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3, and Scarlet Witch will be in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. The Hollywood Reporter now mentions Chris Hemsworth's Thor: Love and Thunder will likely feature several heroes as well, since it's now being described as having an Avengers 5 feel. Both Doctor Strange and Hulk appeared in Thor Ragnarok, but as far as we know, we don't know of any Avengers who are going to star in Love and Thunder. We do know Hemsworth will be rejoined by Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie. Batman actor Christian Bale is on board to play the mysterious villain of the film, and it's safe to assume Loki will play some sort of role, especially since he's got his own MCU show coming up there. Love and Thunder has got me very intrigued too, because they're going to play the whole Jane Foster arc out. Is this Chris Hemsworth's finale? Are we seeing the end of him as Thor? Is this his like swan song?
I think so. You've pretty much written all you're going to get out of Thor. Like, he's in position to become the All-Father and sort of ride out into the sunset. And that's fine, because Jane's tenure as Thor and the Jason Aaron run, Russell Dodderman art, super good all the way through to the end, and I was very skeptical of it at first. Also, you didn't mention that the Guardians are going to be in this movie,
right?
As in of the Galaxy variety.
That's right.
Also, Chris Hemsworth said that this is not his last. This is not the last we're going to see of Thor. He said it himself. So.
I would imagine that even if he's not going to be like having his own movies as Thor, he'll be in the Avengers team ups. He'll probably show up in Guardians of the Galaxy. He'll still be a part of the MCU, I would imagine. Just maybe not as in the spotlight as we're used to.
I just think his story is really finished. It would be like if they brought Captain America back. It's like, what more is there to do with this character?
I mean, Taika. It's gonna be
with Taika's take, like, you could literally do anything It's gotten really wacky, and I dig that about it. Like,
Yeah.
you can literally just have them in a realm of squirrels, and it'll still be like hilarious.
Yeah, we're not really doing the 3-act structure for most of these characters. I mean, it turned out to be that way with Iron Man and for the most part with Captain America, but everybody else can go on as long as they want.
In the comics,
Except for
everything
Black
goes
Widow,
on, right?
who they dropped off a cliff.
That's the funny part too, right? I mean, in the comics, I mean, it's not like they finished the story arc and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, well, let's just cancel Thor now and we're done now. You know, I mean, it always keeps going. I mean, even Captain America's story, quote unquote, keeps going in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So it's just interesting that Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. have kind of been like, all right, we're good now. We're good. We're going to move on now. And Chris Hemsworth's like, nah, sign me up. Keep me going. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I like money.
You think
Please.
he's gonna stay chubby like Lebowski kind of Thor, or
Oh, I hope so.
I don't think he will. I think
No, I don't think so
they'll
either.
ditch that after like a movie or so, or like
Yeah.
the next time we see him, it's just like, wow.
That doesn't have
great.
movie sex appeal.
My mother was
that's
right.
a good gag.
I should eat more salad.
I think they'll keep the demeanor. They're like I think Taika's version of Thor like sparked like
Best version.
reignited. Yeah,
Yeah.
it reignited his love for the character. I think if
Yes.
there was a different take on it, then he probably also would have bowed out. But
Yeah.
you're right. He's in a good spot to just kind of duck in, duck out. His storyline has always been a lot less serious. It hasn't been as much of a tentpole of the MCU. I mean, while it is a large part of it, it's certainly not a Captain America, Iron Man.
They also seem to want to expand on the Marvel Interstellar universe or whatever, their space brand.
Right.
You know, so you only have right now Guardians and Thor. So he could be like a linchpin or whatever to whatever else they want to establish in outer space.
Tessa
Actually,
Thompson can be in whatever movie she wants to in the MCU, and I'll go watch it. Like if they want to do Valkyrie, like
Yeah.
they want to do a whole Valkyrie spinoff, I'd go watch it. She's just so magnetic on screen that I would easily go see a spinoff for her. Which Thor movie is your guys' favorite? Is it unanimous that it's Thor 3?
Yeah.
I think
yeah, I
so.
think it has to be.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, the
it
first
has
one's
cops on
superior to all of
anybody
them, by
else.
the way. You guys
Yeah.
know this, right? Like the
As much
first
as we
Thor
love
movie.
Kenneth
first one.
Branagh.
I like the first Thor movie. I think it's a little silly, but I mean, I like pretty much everything Kenneth Branagh does, so that's on me.
It's the superior Thor movie. And now, a friend of the show, Pat Shan, swears by Dark World, which is the worst. I think. What's a worst MCU film? Is it Avengers 2 or is it Thor: Dark World? Which one's
No, it's
Iron Man
It's
3.
between Iron Man,
Iron Man
2.
3. I was
Iron
just
Man
going to say
3.
Iron Man 3.
No, Iron Man 3 has.
I hate
has
the whole
moments,
thing with
but-
like the kid and him having a nervous breakdown and freak out. I'm like, listen, I'm not here for Tony Stark. I'm here for Iron Man. I don't care who's Hollywood bigwig put their son in this movie. I don't
Yeah.
care. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's exactly what that should be. Like the same way the girl who played
That was a favor to a favor.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, the same way like the main girl from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Katara, like she only got that role because it was a favor from like a millionaire to a Hollywood bigwig. Anyway, but yeah, Iron Man 3. I'm like, whose kid is this? Who
I 100%
bought
disagree
someone
with you,
like
dude.
$1 million, like 100-foot yacht in Monaco to play
Nah.
their
I
kid?
thought Iron Man 3 was better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
I
100%.
agree.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
What? With
No
the
way.
Mandarin and everything?
No
I'm
way.
the
Absolutely.
Mandarin!
Yeah,
Like,
oh,
like,
yeah.
give me a break. And
No.
like Pepper coming in at the end, like, come on. Like
Iron-
like her pulling that whole like Lord of the Rings moment. No man can kill me. I am no man. Like,
Yeah,
come
that's-
on.
that's
From
terrible.
Mickey Rourke, can you name me a single thing? And like, there's a race. I think there's a race car scene in it. I haven't seen it.
Yep.
I've seen it
Yeah,
once, and I
yeah,
can't
it's
remember
great
everything.
scene.
I can't remember a single thing from that movie. It is so unmemorable.
You
They
have-
fight a bunch
Joe.
of drones at the end of it.
Yeah,
Apparently,
Justin Hammer in it. Only like my favorite actor ever
Sam
portraying
Rockwell. Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. It does a little
His
Sam
ass off.
Rockwell dance.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. I didn't even know he was in that. I couldn't even.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't
He's
even
the best
remember
part of
he
the
was in it.
movie.
Yeah, he was the money for the bad guy, the real bad guy. It was great.
So Hassan,
So
we've
good.
thrown up a bunch of candidates here now. If you've got Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Thor: Dark World, or Avengers 2, which one's the worst?
Age of Ultron.
I agree
no,
with
it's
you.
not.
No.
I
I
agree
like
with you.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron is at least
Nobody asked you guys. They asked me.
Who asked?
Thus, Age of Ultron is the worst one. If you're going to ask me,
That makes me feel so good to know that he'll do that to anyone. It's not just me. It's not just me, because that's his answer to me every time. But no, I feel
you
like
always ask me and then editorialize my answer. So I mean, like, what the hell? What's the point?
Well, stop being wrong.
Yes. I've tried to do that several times, but the goalpost keeps changing. Age of Ultron is not. It's a kitchen sink movie. It's just not good. It doesn't have a good feel to it. There's no good pacing to it.
I think you're confusing Iron Man.
No. See, what happens is you guys are confusing, like momentary spectacle and stunt casting for goodness, and it's not. So just get off that.
I think what Age of Ultron did was more world building than anything else. It introduced so many new concepts into the MCU. So for that, it gets a lot of credit from me.
And it set up Avengers 2.5, aka Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's just a lot of nonsense. It's like, I just found this alien intelligence. I'm going to put it in this robot for no reason.
Dude, I love the moment when
the robot's trying to kill us, and I don't know really how to stop it. And then when everybody asks me why I did it, I don't really know how to explain why I did it.
I mean, you have read Ultron in the comics, right? That's exactly how it happens. Hank Pym's like, "Hey, what if I make this
there are a lot of things in the comics that don't make any sense that the movies have editorialized and made it make a little more sense. Hence Thanos and the whole point of why he wanted to destroy the universe. So that doesn't really work. It's for me. It's I cast no aspersions. If you like badness, if you like that movie, then go for it.
We didn't say we
liked it. We didn't say we liked it. We just said
we all don't like it.
We just don't think it's the worst.
Yeah, we don't think it's the worst one.
It's the worst experience I had. Like Thor. Listen, Dark World's not really a great movie. It's not a good movie, but it's not as bad as Age of Ultron. And Age of Ultron is as bad as it is because it's up against the first Avengers, which is a great movie. Which is a fantastic film.
The expectation level for an Avengers movie is just higher than a Thor movie. I don't go into a Thor movie necessarily expecting this to be the greatest thing I've ever.
When he's constrained by circumstances, by certain studio requirements or whatever, Joss Whedon actually can turn in a pretty good story. When he's left to his own devices to come up with with filler for an entire 2.5 hour movie, then you get stuff like the Black Widow being upset that she's sterile, and you get this weird interlude.
That's your weird takeaway. Your weird takeaway isn't Black Widow and Bruce Banner.
No, I was about to mention more, but if you want to keep talking,
once again, he's never seen your show.
This is how it is.
There's no decorum there. Yeah. There's no decorum there. But Jason, what do you think?
I don't mind Age of Ultron. It's my favorite.
That's the wrong answer. All right.
Moving on. It's your favorite. How is it your favorite?
I'm kidding.
Someone's going to
hasn't seen our show.
You know what? I'm not watching Button Smash anymore. It's not doing anything for me.
We are only getting started. When we come back, we're going to dive into Mandalorian Season 2, Chapter 12, The Siege.
Welcome to Button Stash, the show about the best mustaches in gaming.
Casey, it's Button Smash. It's the new gaming podcast from the Rogue Matter Network. I don't know where you got mustaches from.
Well, I'm not shaving. But we will talk about gaming news, reviews, inside scoops, and retrospectives.
Join us live on twitch.tv/WeAreRogueMatter on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, or download our episodes wherever you listen to your podcast.
But please, Casey, shave.
Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast, guest starring Button Smash. Button Smash is the newest podcast to join the Rogue Matter Podcast Network. They stream live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/We Are Rogue Matter. Kind of meta to hear the commercial and to have you guys here. Yeah. So. Now, is it meta or just weird? I don't know. I'm not sure which
why not both?
The right word.
It's weird. A little column A, a little column B.
Meta doesn't really make any sense, actually.
Redundant could be a better word.
Redundant, that works. That could work.
You guys, in addition to knowing video games, are pop culture experts, formerly of Bad Coyote Funky, which was friends of our former show. So that's how we get all the deep relationships out in the open here. Mandalorian, are you guys thumbs up overall, thumbs up, thumbs down before we get into this specific episode? Thumbs up, thumbs down on this season of Mandalorian?
2 thumbs, way up.
I would say sideways with slight.
Yeah, I'm with Serge. I'm like perfect side. I'm horizontal right now, but it's like every time they have something I like, they do something I don't really like so much. Yeah. So it's just kind of like this emotional roller coaster.
What's an example, if you can, of something that
Yeah, give us a like to dislike ratio right there.
Oh, like a ratio or just like specific moment or examples?
Just like, what do you consider something that you like? And then, what's the...
So, I like fan service that goes somewhere. That just isn't just like there just to be there, right? And even if I can like kind of like guess where it may or may not go, I'm okay with that. What I don't like is just filler. I've watched way too much Naruto just to like to have any more filler in my life, and I'm full of filler. That's I'm going to say put it that way.
Believe it.
So when you have someone like you have Boba Fett showing up at the end of the first episode, cool. That can go somewhere, and I hope it does. If it doesn't, I'll just get more annoyed, and that'll become a detractor instead of a positive moment for me. Then you have this whole thing where like you're babysitting eggs for 2 episodes, and it's like. This isn't really
babysitting poorly though. Those things are getting slurped up like nobody's business.
And then you go on Twitter and you get outraged about an alien eating another alien's eggs.
Oh my god! Yeah, get over it. Get over it.
That's the kind of funny thing too, right? Like that's the big question. It's like, what will Baby Yoda eat next? Because that's like every episode he's like chowing down on something.
Went from eating children to macaroons. So
yeah.
I mean, I know.
Right, just straight up real macaroons for product placement.
You can buy them at Williams-Sonoma now.
Yeah, but Williams-Sonoma has them now for like I think like $50. Something crazy.
Wait, they have like the
milk macaroons.
They're teal-colored macaroons.
Really?
Yeah.
But that's the funny part too, because like if you look at the drawings at the end of this past episode, those weren't macaroons that he was eating. It was just like Ritz crackers or something. And I guess the Ritz deal fell through, and like they had to go with the macaroons. Because but that's like a big deal now. Anything Yoda's eating, the child. Anything the child is eating.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with Greg. It's a lot of filler, like a lot of filler. I mean, so a lot. Like I see some Star Wars fans online to talk about it's not filler. It's just a part of the story. Yeah, but okay, it might all make sense when we watch the whole thing together. Right now, we're going week by week, but it seems like we're not going anywhere because right now you got to ask yourself, what is this season about? We're from last season trying to take the child back to where he comes from, so we have to find the Jedi. And then we're on this frog lady thing where we're with like the Quarren and then the Mount Calamari, and then we're doing this thing where Dave Filoni shows up again as a that's so good. So fun facts watching behind
Trapper Wolf.
Yeah, Trapper Wolf. I was watching behind the scenes stuff on Disney Plus, which is amazing. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be on camera. Jon Favreau was just like, "You're gonna do it. Suit up."
Jon Favreau wields like the big Disney stick, right?
Yeah, he does. He just
basically do whatever he wants.
The whole other like behind the scenes thing where they talk about it, and he's just like, I have a flight to go on. Do I ghost Dave Filoni? I don't think I should do that. Let's go. And the stuff that I do like, I do like the character appearances that I'm seeing. Like I like the little stuff in the background, like all the Star Wars Easter eggs. Like if you know, you're rewarded for knowing.
But doesn't that feel like kind of like and everyone here is way too young for this. Even I'm way too young for this. But I remember shows that talked about this when people used to have people over and they would go through like their slides from vacation. And it's just like, hey, look, and I'm here, and hey, look, I'm here. And I feel like every cameo is just like we're sitting watching someone's vacation reel back in 1974, because that's what they did back in 1974 before we were all born. And, like it's cool because it grounds it. Like Hassan and I've talked about it. Like these cameos do keep it within the confines of a Star Wars universe, because otherwise it could be any sci-fi universe that he happens to be in.
Right.
But after a while, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, that's hi X-wing, and yeah, oh yeah, look, they made it over. Oh, yep, they're back on desert planets.
The guys in Red Letter Media did this when they covered like Force Awakens, and they're like, ATSTs, look, I remember those.
Right.
You know?
But what's great about this show that I really like about it is that it does take the rules that we know of the Star Wars universe and try to play with those established rules. So there's
doesn't poop all over them like the last Jedi.
Right. So there's this great I forget who wrote the article. There's an article out there that specifically talking about Game of Thrones, how seasons 1 through 5 were following a book, and the books were about the systems, about building on this world, and they set the rules and they follow within that. Then once they lost that source material and they went beyond it with season 6, it became about the characters, which is a very like American way of doing things, and that's why it lost its shine. So one of the great things about this show is that the characters aren't like super over the top, and it's working within the confines of the world, and I think that's what makes it strong. And as far as the arc of the season, like think of last season it was almost like every episode was almost a standalone thing until the end where it tied it all together. And I think we actually have more of a direction in this season about what the goal is, which is let's bring the child to the Jedi, than we actually saw last season, with potential building blocks of things that we may see pop up later. And if it follows that same pattern, we may be in for a freaking awesome finale.
So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt for sure.
Yeah, you know what the problem is? It seems like a lot of people just kind of don't want to be the one who fell for it, you know, with most of the stuff. Like I spoke to a friend of mine. I said, yeah, you received the most recent episode. And he was like, everybody's talking about it. Like, it's so momentous. And it's just not. I'm like, okay, but did you see the episode? Like, dude, what did you say? I'm just saying, it's not Shakespeare. But did you see the episode? Like, did you know, like, and the difficulty was like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's not Breaking Bad. You know, I understand what it's not. Can you just tell me what it is? But then that's the problem. Most people can't really, when put on the spot, like, what do you like about it? Like, what is the deal with it? Like, you know, what do you think is good about it? Most people can't tell you. And then when you ask them, well, what would you want from it? People can, I just want it to be more. You know, I just wanted to be, you know, and more of this, and you know, ships, and you know, whatever they say. Nobody has a really static idea as exactly what they want it to be. But everybody wants to make sure they're not the one who fell for it. Like, they don't want to be the one in the party who loved, you know, the most recent episode when everybody else, like, yeah, he doesn't. So, like, every time I hear, and I'm not accusing anyone here because no one here said that. But I want to say,
all of us. You heard it.
No.
We're on trial.
You're right.
Damn it.
I'm trying, but you guys are making it so difficult. But it's just the strangest thing to me is like, okay, yeah, I get it, and it's not. It really isn't. It is Lone Wolf and Cub. It is action of the week kind of situation or set piece of the week situation, and I get that. I don't know when that became a bad thing, though. You know, like
you wanted to jump in.
No, yeah, we've been spoiled with how television is kind of catered to everybody's needs in certain series, right? And I think you're absolutely right, Hassan. Like, why can't somebody just enjoy it because it was the gunslinging, you know, Star Wars episode that you got this week in the middle of a pandemic, right? Like,
kind of like I don't want to accuse anyone of why don't you just like it? Because I can get it if you don't like it. My only thing is like my natural mode is not to really not the fact that you're criticizing it. It's what you're criticizing it for, you know? Right. And so when I hear most people say things, it's not like, oh, I just hate Grief Karga, or, you know, I hate the armor on the Mandalorian. He just doesn't look right. And, you know, or I hate the Razor Crest. It's too clunky, you know, whatever. It's always like, it's just, you know, I don't know.
Well,
it's
Star Wars fans,
it's just show of the week. I'm not even talking about nitpicking. I get it. Like, I get nitpicking. those are the arguments that I brought up would be nitpicking. Like, I don't like the Razor Crest. I like the Slave One better. You know, that's a nitpick, right? But that's an argument point. We could actually sit here and have an hour-long argument about that. But
I want to be here for the best Star Wars
Mike, because you're not a real nerd. So it's
I'm a geek when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah, whatever. But the bottom line is, what people are complaining about, you really can't argue with them. People are complaining about it not being. It's like, yeah, you know, this macaroni is good, but it's not steak, you know, and it's just okay. But you didn't ask for steak, you know. You asked for macaroni. Like, what do you want me to? I find it strange that no one's really criticizing the show for being the show. They're criticizing the show for not being mind blowing. And
I think another thing is, like, especially coming from a background of video games, like you have a main story, a main plot point, right? And you have like side quests that give you things. So in a lot of video games, right, you do a side quest because it's going to give you something extra. You're going to get some armor, you're going to get a gun, you're going to get something that will like put you along the way. But the main story is really what you want to get to. And a lot of times, like, developers will pad out a game to make it longer. And that's what my problem with The Mandalorian is right now.
Said the same thing.
Is that I think the main story is getting the child to the Jedi and to the planet. Obviously, we're not going to go there like episode 1. Obviously not. We're going to have some stuff along the way. But I think, like a video game, it's taking us on all these little side quests in which, what are we getting? Like,
wait, but you just said it though, Sergio. You just said it though. Like, well, obviously we're not going to get there in the first episode. It's like, well, no. Why wouldn't they? Why not? Like, why not break like show? And I think that's
because,
Hassan's point, right?
Because of the merchandising.
I'm just saying, if they set up a question,
you run the risk of pacing it badly. You know,
no, I understand that too, but I'm
people
saying
are going to be like, "You jumped the shark in the first episode, like you blew your wad right away."
Yeah,
now.
The groundbreaking shows though take you on a journey where you expect something and take you somewhere completely different. Mandalorian has never been that though in season 1, so it is not breaking what it was in season 1. So again, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt in terms of that, but you know, why not? Like, why not?
This is like my main criticism is that people are always taking something like, you know, Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and comparing it to you know, Hamlet. You know, so, well, and it's like, well, it could never have possibly lived up to that.
Hamlet's overrated anyway.
Maybe you'll hello.
Yes, Hamlet is not Christmas Vacation. I've said that many times.
Christmas Vacation
Eggnog
is
at
way
all
more
anywhere in
intelligent.
the film.
Bill Shakespeare didn't even write his own plays. Controversy.
Anyway, so that's just the strangeness of, because like for me, I'm like, wow, man, speeder bikes can go off cliffs. That's kind of cool. Like, I've never seen that before.
Not
you know,
very
and
well.
it's just, there's certain imagery. Well, I mean, no, they're still being driven by biker scouts, so you know. They can't be too competent, or the whole thing would fall apart. It wouldn't make any sense. But you know, like I do like, or watching Outland TIE fighters take off and chase. I do like seeing things that I've never seen before, and I do like the fact that, all right, this week, this is the Star Wars of the week. You know, in the midst of a pandemic, where there's no other content. There's very little content that's out there now.
I think I keep on just comparing it to season 1 and my experience with season 1, which you're never really going to get because it was just so like out of the blue and it was very different, at least in my opinion.
Season 1 also had the benefit. Season 1 had the benefit of
it's new.
The sequels being so disjointed for at its least, it's disjointed, right? So it was Mandalorian was cohesive, where the sequels.
But my mind wasn't comparing those two together, even though they take place in the same universe. I was looking at the Mandalorian as like the Western story, like the cowboy, like the lone gun going through, and just kind of like almost a tale of redemption, and we get into like, you know, more lone wolf and cub kind of stuff. That's what I wanted, and like. I think for me, while I appreciate the change of scenery too, I'm just like, oh, cool, they're in Squidland. Where's Squidward right now? Like, this is not really what I wanted. I wanted like that saloon, and he goes in, and everyone's like, oh, that's the dangerous guy.
Sure.
You can't do
How
it
long
too
can
much.
you do that though? How many
Exactly.
episodes can
You
you do that for?
You have to change it up. But like, I used to watch every episode in season 1 multiple times before the new episode came out. I was that much into it. I was having such fun. I have, the exception of the first episode, I have not watched each episode more than once. I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
let me ask you a question, and this is a fantastic segue because I was going to ask you anyway. And real quick, if you haven't seen the episode, spoilers. But the big takeaway from this is that Moff Gideon, which we knew he was alive, but now everyone knows he's alive, is intent on extracting midichlorians from the child. He intends to inject it into a living subject. A lot of questions raised there. What did you think about that reveal? Do you think this is going to spearhead us into the, we've only got 3 episodes left, right? Is it episode 5 is this week? 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 episodes.
4 episodes left.
Yeah. Are we on a roller coaster now? Was that a big enough revelation? Was that a big enough, Greg, and you can start off with that and then we'll go around the room. But was that a big enough push to be okay, I think we're getting underway now?
No, I didn't really care about that. I'm just whatever. Cool, you're doing science experiments. You're probably going to inject yourself. That's probably what you're going to do.
Yeah. That's what I thought
crazy.
Too.
You're the dude from Breaking Bad. That's just what you're going to do. You're not a chump. You're not just some no name. You're Moff Gideon.
But would you care? Are you going to care maybe 6 months from now or 3 months from now when you can watch them all in succession with each other?
No.
Would you think the experience would be different at that point?
Not for this storyline. No. I don't think because this also kind of felt a little disjointed because that revelation of we're taking midichlorians or taking something from the child was last season. It was the beginning of last season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you think third episode.
Yeah, this is a whole season later. We've gone through so many different things. I'm now more invested in getting the child back to the Jedi. I don't care about your Empire experiments anymore. I'm more invested in this other kind of storyline. Now, granted, the dark saber is really cool though.
That. If they didn't introduce Moff Gideon and talk about what he was doing or whatever, then the next criticism was that's a plot thread that's left dangling because we haven't seen Moff Gideon and we don't know from season 1 why they wanted the child in the first place. So then people would be like, well, they're leaving threads dangling. We don't know, And
the Mandalorian doesn't leave any threads dangling right now.
No danglers.
There's so many dangling threads.
This show just reintroduced the Dark Trooper program, which is everything from force-sensitive stormtroopers to robot stormtroopers. And I'm all over that.
My question is, how'd they fix that ship so quick?
2020 time. No time.
I get the Aqua guy could barely screw in a piece of metal at the side of it so it could get off. Meanwhile, those guys are a couple hours later, brand new ship.
You mean Gunny from Squadrons?
Yeah.
Until the person actually opened their mouth, and then I went, okay, maybe it's not the same character.
The Mimban. Those are the people Han Solo was shooting in his own movie.
Oh boy.
But anyway.
All right,
I'm sorry. Did I insult you with the knowledge of?
I'm here for it.
No, you never insult me with your knowledge.
I welcome the truth.
Insult me with everything else. All right, let us know what you think. Comment in the Facebook feed. We will comment back. And if you're downloading us on the podcast, we will continually go back to the Facebook page anyway. It is the facebook.com/Rogue Matter podcast page. When we come back, though, we're going to put Button Smash to the test. Video game Celebrity Jeopardy coming up next. Previously on Rogue Wave. With a cape. No, anything. Yeah. Cape is always crazy. Cape is always crazy. Look, there are clowns walking the streets right now.
Right now.
There is no one dressed in a cape. Rogue Wave Podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture and the disruptors behind it. Streaming every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook.com/Rogue Wave Podcast and available immediately following the live stream wherever major podcasts can be found. Welcome back to the Rogue Wave Podcast. I want to thank Button Smash for joining us. It's been a fun ride, 2/3 of the way through. Again, check them out. Twitch.tv/WeAreRogueMatter. For more Rogue Matter stuff, too, go to Kickstarter. Check out The Court. That is our newest project that's on Kickstarter. Back it. It's awesome. Basketball, artists. It's amazing. Can't go wrong. Do it. Check it out. All right. Button Smash is our video game podcast on Rogue Matter. So we thought if we're doing a crossover episode, super crossover, we're going to do a little Button Smash, Celebrity Jeopardy, video game themed. And I got to tell you guys, I worked really, really hard on this. I did not go to jeopardylab.com. That automatically generated categories and questions for me.
I didn't know that was a thing until just now.
So here's the funny thing too. In the process of doing this, I was like, well, let me look up video game trivia. And I came up with a video game. I typed in video game Jeopardy, and that's the first thing that came up. And I'm like, well, let me click on this thing. And it was like, boom. Just did my work for me, which was fantastic. I didn't use it though. I came up with my own. Trust me, this is all my own.
Guys, I think he used the thing he said he didn't use.
Yes, your suspiciously specific denial.
Yeah.
That's the way I like it. All right. For our viewing audience out there, you can see the board. For our listening audience out there, the categories are characters, history, platforms, and games. We've got 1 to 500 for all of the scores, and we're going to put ourselves on a little bit of a timer here. We're going to go 8 minutes, round robin. You guys got your emojis ready? We're going to do this real true Jeopardy style because there's 5 of you. Hassan is just going to be snarky throughout. I'm going to grade him on his snarkiness at the end and see how well he does.
It's a real stretch for me.
Quite frankly. What's that?
I'll see if I have the range for that. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a
Take
stretch.
snarky for 200. All right. Greg or Sergio, who should go first between the two of you? We're going to pick Jason.
First.
Jason, you go first.
All right. Thank you. Platforms for 500.
Whoa! Going 500 already? Wow, all right.
Love it.
This was the very first gaming console ever released, even before Atari Pong.
I think I put a thing up. So
Yeah, you
so I
did.
just
Oh,
answered?
yeah. Yeah. It's blending in with your Christmas tree back there.
Oh,
Go ahead.
What is ColecoVision?
That is incorrect. You are negative 500.
Ooh.
And as we've learned last week, you owe us money if you finish in the red.
Oh yeah. Take
Anybody
it out of my
else?
Rogue Matter check.
I did
Anybody
tear
else?
up your gamer membership card right there. Not getting that one. Even I know that answer to that one. I don't. I really don't. I don't. I'm sorry.
Going once,
Yeah.
going twice.
Nobody else.
No.
The answer is Magnavox Odyssey.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
What?
Wow. I had a Magnavox. I had a Magnavox television though.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know what this was, but
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this out to you guys too before we continue. We've done this before with many guests, and guests always go for the hardest answers first, and they never get them. And I'm always sitting there going like, no,
Glad that tradition
go,
continues.
go for easy. Go for easy, but it's okay. All right, Casey, I called you up. You go next.
Let's do characters for 300.
Recent murders for $1,000.
Middle of the road.
This person shows up when you win awards in Fallout and is based loosely off the Uncle Moneybags from Monopoly.
Who is Vault Boy?
Well,
You're playing it wrong because Chris has his emoji.
So Chris gets
Oh,
to go.
Chris
yeah.
Wow.
Casey's never seen Jeopardy.
what is Vault
This
Boy?
is going well. This is really going well.
Chris got it.
Here we go. Hey, good job.
Nailed
Alright.
it.
Casey's the guy like flicking his butt, you know, like you always have that guy who's always like, my thing didn't work.
My
Like,
God.
all right, Doc Chris, the board
let's keep
is
it
yours, and you
rolling.
have 300 points.
I love it. Let's keep it rolling with characters for 400.
All right. The answer is in BioShock, you fight giant mutated men in heavily armored diving suits. What are they called? I go Sergio.
They are, what is, or who is, who is? I think they're what's.
Doesn't matter.
Form of a
Big
question.
Big Daddies.
You are correct, sir. Ding, ding, ding. All right. 400 for Sergio. All right. I'm going to keep in tabs here. Hassan,
Some of
keep
you
tabs
guys
of who's winning
actually-
here.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm just impressed that some of you guys actually know what you're talking about. You know,
I literally looked at all the
us,
answers
who-
and I'm like, I don't know any of these answers.
Because if you asked Dolce and I
don't even know
any
the
comic book
questions that
questions,
are
we'd be
being
lost. Be completely lost. We'd be like,
it's off the
"Wow,
rails. It's
ooh,
great.
it's Star Wars. I only know Star Wars.
Maybe there's a Star Wars video game question. You don't know.
All right, Sergio, the board
Not
is
gonna be.
yours.
All right, let's go with games for 200.
Games for 200. And the answer is this game features a war between humans and an alliance known as the Covenant. Casey.
What is Halo?
All right, you are correct, sir. The board is back to you.
Who didn't know that though?
Thank goodness. I'll take platforms for 400.
This was the third console right after the Master System. Its best-selling game was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
Casey again.
What is the Sega Genesis?
Ah, yeah, it was that last answer.
so
I got
simple.
I saw
Even I
Jay's,
had a Sega Genesis.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw Jay's reaction go up first.
What's
that's all
that?
right though. I'm gonna keep saying ColecoVision. Don't
I
worry.
didn't see it.
You gotta pay
Here's-
attention, Dolce.
I
You know, you're
saw
blowing
Casey's
this
pop
game,
up.
dude.
I'm
You're
looking.
blowing this game.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
You're playing favorites. You're playing favorites. Of the
Or
button
you can have
press.
Mike ask the questions and Hassan can see whose reaction comes up first.
I can do that.
How
I
about
don't know whose name anybody is though.
how about history for 5?
History for 500. I think, didn't we do this one?
Did
already?
we do that one?
No, we did platform.
we did not.
Platform, yeah.
Okay.
What was the first commercially sold video game? Sergio.
What is ET?
Incorrect.
Oh,
Greg.
What is Pong?
Incorrect.
No.
Pac-Man. Everybody knows that.
Incorrect.
Everyone knows
The
that.
answer is, or the question is, computer space.
God.
Okay.
Huh.
Never heard of it either.
Glad I held my tongue with
You guys
Pitfall.
should not have agreed to do this.
Okay,
Put our bona fides to the test.
Am I gonna pick again?
so far we're going to go, well, yeah, we're going to pick again, but I'm just saying that so far Sergio is negative 100. Greg is negative 500. Jay is negative 500. Doc Chris is 300, and Casey is in the lead with 600.
Very nice.
It's like golf, right? That's what it is.
You wish.
Casey, the board is yours.
Characters for 5?
Characters. Man, going for those heavy hitters. Right
I mean, we might as well get them out of the way if they're going to be this tough.
This character is a lieutenant in the purple colored gang. She sleeps with everyone but you.
What?
That is
That sounds
literally
like
the
that
question.
sounds like in my real life. That's not my video game life.
The purple color gang.
I think it might. No, they're called the Saints. I was thinking Saints Row. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah.
The answer is Shondi.
From what?
I
Yeah.
don't know. I
What do
couldn't
you mean you don't know?
God.
I think it's Saints Row. Hold on.
Saints Row.
Yeah,
blame
it's,
me. Blame
yeah,
Jeopardy
it's
Lab.
definitely Saints Row. Voiced by Danielle Nicolette.
Okay.
You didn't
Come
buzz
on,
in,
Dolce.
so still me.
All right.
Saints
We are
Row.
going with-
You're literally ruining these guys' reputation. You gotta do your homework there.
Look, I
Mike.
thought about that. It's not my reputation. What do I
Trivia
care?
game is not this week.
My job was
What you
to
doing to your
find-
sister?
Hassan, my job was to find video game questions.
Where did you find those questions?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
Like,
Saints Row? No one knows Saints Row lore.
Well, it wasn't a lore question.
You could have been like,
Lore
what's
was
the
like-
it kind of was. It kind of was.
Lore
Like, I know
question.
that.
All right, let's give this. Wait, now we're gonna turn the board over to Greg.
All right.
It's like the start of the second round.
In
of Jeopardy.
Connect
They give it
4.
next.
Well, let's go.
What is embroidered on the little, pieces in Connect 4?
What is 4?
Games for 100. Did we do that one yet? I have not been.
No, they-
Games for 100. Here we
Let's
go.
do it.
Marker on
Let's go.
board.
Yeah.
This game features you as a purple dragon who runs around collecting gems and finding other dragons who have been turned into statues. Greg,
Oh my God.
Who is Spyro?
that is correct.
It was
All right.
definitely Chris.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
it was definitely between.
It was
Surge
definitely
and
Chris who had his reaction at first.
fine. Fine.
Hey,
fine.
let me be at negative 400, please.
What is Spyro the Dragon by Insomniac Games?
Here's the
remastered
funny
by
thing though too,
Activision.
right? It's like whatever catches my attention because I got like it's Hollywood Squares here.
You're supposed to be paying attention, though. You gotta look, though. You're the boss. man. You're the proprietor.
You know what would have worked? A buzzer, a noise.
Yeah, you should have got a buzzer.
the whole time.
Pull the curtain back. I
'Cause it
actually,
lights up.
Hassan, before you joined us, I actually asked him what is the best way to do this,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
so they voted this way. So
So you're
I
not
voted for
exonerating
Ant.
yourself.
I was a big proponent of
Casey, no one wants to hear you say, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, please don't ever do that again.
all right,
Should have used the
Just
message.
keep doing us a favor. Stop it.
Greg, go again.
All right. History for 100?
History for 1.
Yeah, probably.
Why not?
Here we go.
Look at us.
This is actually this is a fun one. I like this one.
Yeah, right.
This was the first at-home gaming console of this millennium. Jay.
What is ColecoVision?
Sergio.
What is a Nintendo Entertainment System?
Incorrect.
This millennium.
Ah.
2000. GameCube.
Who is it?
Chris has his hand. Has a thing.
Well, I said Chris and Casey go at the same time, but I'll go.
I would give it to Chris.
I'll go Chris actually because his just went away the first time. That's
Yeah.
how I know.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the PlayStation 2.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah.
Hey.
What? No, that's not right.
It is correct of this
GameCube.
millennium.
It came out in 1999.
I don't know what to tell you. This is Jeopardy
That's
level.
Oh.
I
GameCube
challenge
was
it, and I'm answering with the correct answer.
I got a challenge. Challenge.
Are you gonna say GameCube?
I'm gonna go with Sega Dreamcast.
Oh.
The answer is PlayStation 2.
No,
Now we
it's
gotta
not.
Google it. You gotta
PlayStation
Google
2. Hold on, Casey. When was it released again?
1999.
The PlayStation 2 was released in Japan on March 4th, 2000. North America, October 26th in the year 2000.
What?
And November 24th in the year 2000 in the EU, as well as November 30th, 2000 in Australia.
Eat it, Casey. Eat
Are
it.
wrong,
Oh,
sir.
shit.
Please
that
have
question,
a
by the way?
It's so good when you're
Oh,
wrong.
shit. Punch yourself in the
That was-
face.
See,
It was a
Hassan,
100-point
you're worried
question.
about me ruining their reputations. They just beat each other. They don't know how to do
We're
anything.
doing great on our own.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
but
just-
Y2K happened.
My new Jeopardy mini game is just making sure Casey loses.
That's the
Wait, am I
best.
still winning?
Technically, yes.
Wait, how many points is that question?
That was only 100.
That was 100.
So, Chris, you are 400 points.
you're in control
Sergio
of the board.
is at negative 200.
Great.
So you're out, Sergio. You're done. We're done because we're going in the final Jeopardy round here.
Oh, am I done?
Don't
Jay, you
people
never
out.
even
You've
participated.
What? You started off with
And
negative
Greg, you were
5.
also negative 400. So we.
Hey, go play ColecoVision.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give.
Play it in front of us.
I'm going to say Jay and Greg are definitely out. Sergio, we're going to keep you in for one more question, and if you can get into the positive, you can participate in Final Jeopardy. Okay?
ColecoVision.
That's the
Goddamn
answer.
right.
All right, Doc Chris.
If that's an answer, it's gonna be so.
Doc
my
Chris,
God.
pick one. Go ahead.
I guess characters for 200. Is that still available?
Characters
It's the last one for characters.
Is still available.
right.
So now again, we got Casey, Doc Chris, and Bad Cowdy Funky. Sergio himself are the only 3 contestants remaining. Name the first 3 original starter Pokemon. Doc Chris.
Oh man, we're talking about Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle.
Man, he got it. Not only did he get it, but now he's tied with Casey. Oh,
Goddamn right.
Oh, here we go.
Yes. Let's do games for 300. That's still available.
all right. That'll be the final Jeopardy question.
Love it.
Oh,
So this is it? This is for all the marbles?
It's between. So don't buzz in. You're gonna reveal me the answer, and if you guys keep going, we have other questions we can do. So, in this game, there is a war over part of the Milky Way galaxy between 3 teams: a humanoid race, an insectoid race, an insectoid alien race, and an exiled human race. Casey, what is your final Jeopardy answer? Wait. Actually, wait. Don't do anything yet.
You got a wager.
you want
Yeah,
us to
we're
like,
gonna wager.
Write it in private. I'm
Now that you know the
wager
question. Now that you know the question, let's
Casey,
we'll
wager
go on to the
everything.
next one. We'll go on to another question. Put down a wager. Announce a wager.
Everything.
So you both have 600.
All right, that's fine.
Casey, how much are you wagering? Actually, I guess you hide it, right? You hide it and then
600.
you answer. But we're not gonna. We don't have a chance to write it.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is audio, so you're just gonna tell us what your wager is.
Oh,
The only way to win is to wager everything.
All right, so you're both wagering everything.
you know what? No. I'm gonna wager. I'm only wagering 100.
Win is not to play.
Just in case. 100.
right.
Although I'm pretty sure we're both gonna get this
That's
answer.
a mistake. Wager
All
it
right,
all.
you know what?
No, I'm
You're
gonna
right.
ask. We're gonna do a new question. We're gonna do a new question after this.
God damn it.
Yeah.
All right,
We'll do the
600,
game. We'll
fuck
do
it,
the games
everything.
for 400 question.
It's all
Oh, the
about
answer to that question was StarCraft.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
Kaliko. Okay.
Casey, how much are you? You're wagering it all, Casey.
I'm wagering it all, baby.
And Doc Chris, you're only gonna wager 100.
You know what? No, I'm just gonna. It's all. All or
It's
nothing.
all or none.
All or nothing.
So it's a tie.
All right. In this
will remain a
online
tie.
game,
We
this
will
is
end
it.
as
Final
two
Jeopardy.
champions.
Guys are
All right.
wagering it all. In this online game, you play as a champion and destroy an opposing team's nexus. How do we do this? Oh, wait. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Wait, but he'll. Okay.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Wait, we could both see it. Or I guess. If we
No,
promise-
just do direct message. We're good.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah. See? Oh, look, we're using our technology here. I was gonna say like Final Jeopardy. you have to write it.
Technology. What's that?
Yeah, it's fun. I also don't actually know if this is right.
Ah.
All right.
I do know that it's right.
Oh no.
Doc Chris, you said DOTA. Casey, you said League of Legends. The question is, what is League of Legends? Casey
Heroes of the Storm.
is the definitive winner.
Boom. Nice.
And when Casey wins, we all lose.
The no prize is in the mail, my man. That has been our show. I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I want to thank the folks, the fine fellas. They're not our sister show. They're our fine fellas from Button Smash. Thank you guys for joining us. They're off this week because there's some holiday going on Thursday. Everybody,
Another one.
Hassan, I wish you a Merry Thanksgiving and a Happy Thanksgiving. I wish all of you guys a Happy Thanksgiving. And I wish all you folks out there a very Happy Thanksgiving. Next week, we will tackle the next chapter of Mandalorian. We've also got Todd Black
We didn't
coming
really
on.
tackle this one.
Oh, we did. We talked about how much we
Really?
didn't like it. We got Todd Black coming on. Maybe we'll do Jeopardy with him. We'll figure it out. We'll see you
Yeah.
guys next week.
Rogue Wave.